Here we are. Here we are.
Hello there.
Hello.
So it has been a packed couple of episodes.
Yes.
Like 7 and 8, Truth and Consequences, and The Clone Conspiracy. In the reverse order of the way I said them. These were insane episodes. Especially because, I don't want to spoil anything, but the outcome is not what you might expect.
Right. Well, we're here to spoil it, right? So
so let's begin spoiling.
Let's begin spoiling. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is Father Son Galaxy. I am Kerwin. This is Keith. We are here to talk
about The Bad Batch.
That's right, Bad Batch.
Episodes 7 and 8 of Season 2.
All right. Episode 7 is called The Clone Conspiracy. All right, so let's...
And it really is a conspiracy.
Now I'm going to tell you, these are two very good episodes, all right? So starting with The Clone Conspiracy, we were trying to figure out, okay, well, what exactly does that mean?
Like, what type of conspiracy are they talking about?
Right.
Could this be the uprising? And I think this is planting the seeds of an uprising.
Right, exactly.
Because when the entire Senate erupted the way it did, like, something has to happen now.
Yes.
Actions have to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, let's start off with the first scene, the beginning scene, all right? We're on Coruscant.
Yeah, we're on Coruscant at some sort of cantina.
Yes.
And there's these two clones, Slip and Cade. So Cade wants Rampart to tell the truth about Kamino and how he ordered their attack. How he ordered the attack on Kamino and destroyed the cities, and millions of people, not millions, but hundreds of people perished during that attack on Tipoca City.
Can I just stop you right there? So this is very brave of Cade, this clone. We never met this clone
before. So he
before.
said to DM to Rampart.
You thought he sent a DM?
And he basically said, Rampart, listen, I'm going to give you one day to tell the truth to everyone before I do it myself, because this is going on for way too long. So basically, what he said to Rampart was, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to go before the Senate, and I'm going to testify that you were the one ordering the attack on the Kamino, and that it wasn't destroyed by a storm.
But imagine this, that you're going back to tell your boss, you're going to have a conversation. In my mind, this is how it happened. Cade walked into Rampart's office and put his knuckles on Rampart's desk, right, and looked him eye to eye and said to him, you know what? You know what you did was wrong, okay? Now, you better tell the Senate the truth as to what happened at Kamino, or I'm going to go and tell the Senate. And walked out of Rampart's office. That's very bold.
See, I bet you Cade, he took off his cap, and he placed it down on the table, and he's like, listen, Rampart.
Yeah.
You shall tell the truth to the Senate, or I will tell them myself.
Yeah.
I will bring down Thor's hammer might on you if you don't.
I just thought it was very interesting, when he started off the conversation with Slip, telling Slip that he went to Rampart directly. That is a very brave thing to do, because as soon if it so happened he talked to Rampart in his office, as soon as he walked out, there was a target. Cade had a target on his back, right?
So did Slip too.
Well, right, but we know Cade
inherently.
Yes, exactly, right. So Cade is confiding with Slip about this information. They walk outside the cantina, and then, of course, absolutely, pew pew, Cade was down, all right?
Yep. Right away, we knew that there was someone after both Slip and Cade.
Right. And speaking of Slip, I love the way
Slip gave them the slip. He was like, okay, time to go.
When he took that speeder bike, he turned it on.
And he did that backwards flip. He did that 180. He did it like Space Drake, except, he had some meaning to that one.
Oh, easy.
Like that. Wait. Let's go back to the Book of Boba Fett for a moment.
Oh,
if you gotta take the time to spin around, and your comrade has to lift his line of fire so you can do a 360.
What does this have to do with the Bad Batch?
I'm just saying, the way Cade pulled that, the way Slip gave him the slip.
Right, Slip. Yeah, exactly. That was my point. We're going to talk about how Slip. It was awesome. I mean, the animation. I don't know how many times we have to say it, but it's just top notch.
From season 1 onward, like once the 7th season of the Clone Wars came out, we all knew that the bar was set high for the Bad Batch.
Exactly,
and they delivered with amazing animations. For the first episode, it was so lifelike. Like, remember when we saw the batch on that snowy planet and Kaden, or Caleb Doom at the time?
Yeah.
That was the first time we've seen such animation in the Bad Batch, and they have not failed since.
Yes,
We've still
absolutely.
gotten the same grade of animation, and it just gets better, in my opinion.
Yes, it absolutely an improvement over the Clone Wars animation. It's wonderful. It looks fantastic. All right.
You used to say they look like blocks.
Yeah,
You said they
do.
look. They
look
like
like
construction blocks.
carved out figures. Like someone like take it by hand and just carved out the pieces of these characters. That's what especially Dooku. You know how
Oh my goodness!
Dooku always to me
They
looked
did my
like
boy wrong. They gave him such a long head.
yeah, but
Like, why did Dooku's head go from normal size to let's just make it a little longer?
Right. Yeah, but they've actually done a very good job with the animation, even on Count Dooku. All right. So now the next scene. This was very interesting. So we get to see the Senate floor, which we've seen in the films.
Yes.
But this is very interesting. So we've been talking about this Defense Recruitment Bill that has now been brought to the Senate. The idea is some of these senators do not want this bill passed,
True.
right? Because, well, let's talk about why. So first of all, let's tell everyone who was in attendance. So we had, for people who were in favor of passing the bill, we had the banking clan, right? A member representing the banking clan.
We've seen that before in the Clone Wars. I believe in season 6 with that whole storyline.
Exactly. Massa Meta was there, right? He is the right-hand man to the Emperor himself. He was there.
He is Palpatine's boy,
Yes, he is. Yes.
so to speak.
Right, yes, right. Vice Chair of the Galactic Republic. And then, of course, Admiral Rampart were there.
Rampart has to be in attendance because otherwise it's not a Senate.
Right. Now, those are the people who want the bill passed. And now
And
the
now
people
for those
who are
against.
against having the bill passed. So we saw
Can I
some
do
familiar
this one?
faces. Absolutely. Go ahead.
So we got Bail Organa,
Bail Organa.
member of the Imperial Senate.
Yes.
Senator Tinra Pamlo, who serves the Imperial Senate, and she's the Minister of Education in the civil government of the Alliance to restore the Republic. What a mouthful. They could use like an abbreviation, and worked with the Rebel Alliance Intelligence Service. She was first seen in Rogue One, played by actor Sharon Duncan Brewster. And lastly, we have Senator Rio Chuchi Pantoran, who's speaking on the behalf of the clones. And what she's saying is, what will happen to them? How do we take care of the people who fought and die for the Republic? Because if you think about it, the clones have been serving for, what was Attack of the Clones? 22 BBY?
I would say that's about right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they've been serving for 3 years. And they're still in service right now. And I'd say this is about 17 BBY, about the same time Adventures in Wild Space took place.
Yes.
Give or take. So the fact that this happened, like, they're just gonna send these clothes to their dude. They're just gonna be like, all right, listen, you can walk off into the sunset now. Not even that. Like, they just don't care. Rampart doesn't even address these people by their names. He's just like, oh yeah, CT, CT,
Now, can we go back and talk about, let's talk about Senator Pamela, right? Now, well, like you said, she was introduced in Rogue One. This was a very pivotal moment in Rogue One when the Alliance, the Council, the Rebel Alliance all gathered together. This was right before the Jinn took off and decided that they were just going to go rogue, hence the name, and fly to Scarif to get the Death Star plans. Now, she was the lady that, she was in the middle of the circle. She had an off-white colored robe. She had the hood on. And her stance was, in Rogue One, that the Empire is too big. We can't defeat them. We need to surrender. And one of the things she said to the group, she says, what chance do we have? And then Jen says, what chance do we have? What choice do we have? Right? So that was a very cool moment. So the actor, right, Sharon Duncan Brewster, is actually voicing the same character in this episode. So that's really cool. They brought the same actor back. All right. So now her stance, again, is, well, why do we need the Defense Recruitment Bill? Because, the war is over. We don't need to, maintain an army of troopers or clones. And then the opposite side says, well, there's a lot going on in the outer rim and the mid rim. There's insurgents that are popping up here and there. So we definitely do need, this defense bill to be passed, right, for protection, right, for security purposes. So that's what happened. So now, as far as Senator Chuchi, not necessarily, she's not on the side of not necessarily passing the bill, but if we pass the bill, she wants to make sure that the clones, who she knows will eventually get phased out, are being taken care of, right? So she wants to make sure that something is in that bill, like a pension plan. She mentioned to Rampart scenes later that we should put together some kind of a pension plan, to make sure that we're still taking care of these clones. Mm-hmm. They fought for us for so many years. What are we doing for them? We don't want them living on the streets in poverty, So
right.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. That was her
and
side
I
of it.
found that very fair, because frankly, these are the clone troopers who gave their lives. Remember Hard Case? Live to fight another day.
Ah, yes, right. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
That was something he ran.
And remember Heavy from the first season? Poor man couldn't even make it out of the first season.
Interesting.
And
okay.
Echo, how he almost died in the Citadel. Like, all of these clones who have sacrificed themselves for the Republic. And what, you're just going to throw them out the window?
Mm-hmm. Right. And now remember the reason why these clones were created in the first place, right? It was an Emergency Powers Act. This was at the time when the Republic and the Separatists were really going at each other. The Galactic Republic was made aware that the Separatists were creating their own army of droids, right?
True,
so
droids.
Battle droids, right? So in turn, Palpatine, Senator Supreme Chancellor Palpatine at the time,
he was still Supreme Chancellor at the time, yeah.
Right, decided that he was going to use his emergency powers to actually enact a bill to create this clone army. So that's why they were created in the first place, all right? Okay, so now let's get into what's going on, the heart of the story. So Slip, now that Cade is gone, wants to make Senator Chuchi aware of what's going on, what he's heard. Rampart did have something to do with the destruction of Kamino. It was not what they're saying is.
It was
Rampart
destroyed in
said
a cataclysmic storm.
Yeah, some catastrophic
But Kamino's on a rainy planet. Yeah. It's built to weather storms.
Exactly. So that's what they're selling people, that it was destroyed in a storm, which we know is not true. So Chuchi wants,
because we saw it.
Wants proof. Okay, well, what kind of proof can we get? All right. Well, we go on later in the episode and we find that, Slip is really nervous. He needs to, find help, and he has a contact who can probably help him to escape, so where he can live underground and not be found by the Empire. That person turns out to be Captain Rex.
Mm-hmm. But before Rex can even get there, Slip can't give him the slip a second time, and he ends up with a I'm trying to think of another slip joke.
Okay, well, he did not.
Tardy slip.
Right, he could not.
For everything. Ever.
He could not. He would not be able to escape this one. So, yeah, so in other words, Rampart. Now, we didn't talk about the assassin.
Oh, yeah, so Rampart sent a cloned assassin.
Well, okay, yeah, you reveal that it's a clone. Right, but okay.
Well,
I know
it's a spoiler episode.
Well, yeah, I was going to get there, but you're right. So this assassin...
Kind of spoiled the dramatic reveal.
Absolutely fine. So this assassin, you're correct, was a clone. Now, when the identity of this assassin was revealed, well, first of all, when I saw the assassin, the first person I thought of was Crosshair.
I know.
I don't know if anybody else felt the same way, but
I didn't,
let me know.
I'm kind of like, I don't feel like Crosshair has the willpower to shoot another clone.
I don't know. Well,
there's people.
Okay. Well, it's good soldiers follow orders, right? So if he was given the order to take out another clone, you don't think Crosshair would have taken that order?
No, because Crosshair is a clone. And inherently by nature, those clones are his brothers. So he wouldn't shoot his brothers, I don't think. Because Crosshair deep down is... I'm trying to think of something. Yeah. He's not the greatest person. I'm trying to think of something
Right,
nice
he's-
because I can't really.
No, that's fine. I mean, he's not villainous, but he is.
Bro, he destroyed that village, remember? And trashed their crops and homes. And
Okay. Well, that's true. That is a very good point. That is a very
Literally.
good point. Yes, he could. You know,
remember when he tried to blow up the batch in an engine?
that's true. Okay. Well, so once again, my point is.
Crud.
Right. So So
but
again.
the Badger. Oh my goodness.
See, you understand what I'm saying?
Wait,
So
wait. But the Badger. But they're his brothers. They're literally.
I understand that, right? But again,
Oh,
the
Lord.
sniper, he was a great target. So of course, the first person I
Either way,
thought
I
of
don't
was
care.
Crosshair. But okay, so now it's not Crosshair, which is fine. I think that would have been a twist
Too
to the story.
cliche.
Well, it would have been a twist to the story.
But we all would have seen it coming, Dad. Like, if it were Crosshair, it would have been so predictable that there wouldn't have been any twinge to it when we found out that it was a clone.
I like that.
Because if you think about it, like, that assassin, we expected it to be some sort of hired contact. Like, remember Captain Corda from Adventures in Wild Space?
Yeah.
How he hired a bounty hunter to do his work for him? Like, I expected it would be like that, but when we found out it was a clone, it gave a sort of sting that we wouldn't have gotten if it were Crosshair.
Right.
And firstly, he wouldn't have been able to get out of it that easily anyway. Because that kind of would have ruined his redemption arc if Captain Rex were to capture him. Because, like, how would he get out? And more importantly, like, would he be forced to reunite with the Batch? Because I feel like that wouldn't be the most merry of circumstances
Right.
for him to be.
Yeah,
reunited.
as far as you have a good point. As far as his character arc, it would not have made sense for him to be the one, to be the assassin taking out that clone. All right, we'll pick this up. Let's go to Q&A, see who's here. All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much for joining us, Lisa Washington. Thank you, Lisa.
I did at first think it was Crosshair
Yeah.
being the assassin, but Rampart really didn't trust him after learning that Clone Force 99 was still alive.
Very good point.
True, because remember I was like, oh, every clone close to you disappears.
Good. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Actually, yeah. And you know what? And I'm glad that it wasn't Crosshair. Like you said, it would have been too cliche. It would
have been a twist we'd all have seen coming, so
What-
much so that it wouldn't have been a twist.
I get the impression, there's always this redemption story with Star
First
Wars.
of all, I think Crosshair could be redeemed. And in this sense, I don't think he has to perish.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the fate of the galaxy hangs somewhere in the balance, like with Darth Vader or Kylo Ren or anyone from the other eras. Like, then it would have been even more sad. But Crosshair doesn't necessarily have to die. Like, he doesn't have to have the classic hero, the classic villain's journey. Like, villain, then a redemption arc, and then they die. It
That's
doesn't
true.
really have to happen to him because, like I said, he's also got a lot more story to explore, I think.
Yeah.
Because we've only seen Crosshair in these 2 seasons of The Batch and those few episodes of the Clone Wars. And for most of them, Crosshair hasn't been in them because he's been off with the Empire. So I think it'd be too short-sighted for Crosshair to perish in this season.
Well, we don't know, right? But yes, so we know there's a lot more Crosshair story to be told, right? And to have him be the sniper, I think that would have just taken him way off character, his character journey of redeeming himself, because that would be something that's really
That would bring him further down the dark path.
exactly
if
right,
and
and the redemption would just take that much more for him to redeem himself. So
And then it'd be
we
so
in
much more of a
agreement.
stretch for us
Yeah.
to believe that he can be redeemed. Because it's like, you just shot 2 clones in cold blood
Yeah.
and then tried to shoot your brother Rex.
Exactly.
They know each other.
Yeah.
And then he literally tried to shoot a senator too.
Yes.
So if that were Crosshair, I feel like that would have just totally spoiled any chance of a redemption arc we had. Because let's be real, in the last 2 episodes of The Bad Batch, we have to see some sort of reconciliation between Crosshair and Hunter and the rest of the batch as well. Because, give me a second, let me
take a sip.
drink some water
That's
before
all
I
right.
preach. Like, if you think about it, Crosshair and Hunter have the most trauma with each other. Because Hunter is the leader of the batch, and
True.
Crosshair is the one who had his own ideology, and more importantly, refused to take orders from Hunter. He's the one who had attitude from the beginning.
Agree.
So I feel like they gotta reconcile before the rest of the batch can reconcile with them. Because once Hunter is the gates to say to Crosshair, you know what? Let's just no hard feelings, all right? You can come back to the team. I think the rest of the batch would be accepting. However, I'm trying to think. Echo and Tech might be the hard ones to convince, though, because Tech being very logical, he would be like, well, the chances of Crosshair betraying us or reporting us to the Empire are very high. We don't trust him yet. And Echo would probably be like, since he was a clone trooper, I've dealt with betrayal before. Like, I don't trust you, Crosshair.
Yeah.
See, Omega's very trusting. So is Wrecker, kind of. It just depends. And so is Hunter, if they can, become friends again. But the rest of the batch would probably be pretty hard to get on his side.
Well, I think you have a good point with Crosshair have to get in good graces with Hunter first, right? Because Hunter is the leader of the group.
He is the Bad Batch.
Right. And if Hunter is okay with bringing Crosshair back into the group, I think it would, it wouldn't take that much convincing with the other team members to welcome him back. Because the leader says it's okay, in my opinion. You good?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Just need like a tissue or something.
Okay. Do you want to? Okay, we'll take care of that while we do that. Okay. So let's continue. Alex, I see that you're here as well. Thank you very much, Alex.
Hello.
So just to keep going. So we were at the point where this assassin took out Slip. And also tried to take out the senator and her bodyguards, which actually
he
did take out
in that.
both bodyguards, right? And so, but Rex was able to stun him, knocked him out, and it was revealed that he was a clone, and he wanted answers from He wanted answers from this clone, and the clone decided that he wasn't going to say anything.
He was just going to electroshock himself.
Yeah, and he was just going to take his own life, and that was it. And that's how the episode ended. Episode 7, The Clone Conspiracy. All right.
And now back to the last part of our two-parter, because I cannot wait. Truth and consequences.
Yes, right.
And now this.
Okay. And by the way, none of the Bad Batch was in this episode. Really?
Yeah,
it was interesting. Yeah, they were not in the episode. All right, but
they became like private contractors at the end.
Right, but they were definitely in episode 8. So let's talk about episode 8, Truth and
you know what I think, though?
Consequences.
The fact that the Bad Batch could be a thrilling drama without the Bad Batch just shows how great the writing is. Because even though you don't have your main characters on screen in that episode, it was still great television. Mm-hmm. And like I said, that just goes to show how great the writing on the show was.
Right. Yeah, I like what they're doing with the storytelling. We don't always have to see the Bad Batch in the episode
because mostly they just run errands for Sid.
Well, that's one thing, but their life is going on outside of the Bad Batch, right? So we need to see what's happening with the Empire. We need to see what's happening with the Republic. So there's just. It's not just about them. It's the big picture.
It's their show, though.
It is their show, but it's the big picture, So, and they did that last season. Remember when they introduced young Hera and her family? That episode, I don't believe they were. Maybe at the beginning of the episode they were in it,
but they weren't the rest of it.
Yeah, but they weren't the focal point. Absolutely. All right, so now we see the Bad Batch, and let's just start off with Echo and Omega because it's going to be very important about. What happens with both of these characters at the end of the episode. So at the beginning, we see Omega meditating. She's trying to learn what she learned from Gungi from the last episode. And she says it's not working.
Isn't it Gungi?
Gungi or Gungi, it doesn't matter. So Echo comes up and, they have a conversation. And the conversation turns into how Echo joined the Bad Batch, right? And remember what happened, right?
Skiko Minor, how Rex somehow intercepted the code, and then they freed Echo.
They freed him, and he felt that this is where he needed to be. This is where he belonged with the Batch. Let's table that for the end of the episode.
Set up and
pay off. There you go.
Got it.
Set up and pay off.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, sure. That's why I'm here. It's okay.
Love you.
I love you too. All right. Okay. So we get a hologram from Rex. They got a mission. And they were so happy to jump on board. I mean, Wrecker said, well, I'm so glad I don't have to wait around for Sid anymore.
Yeah,
well, at least
so
for
you
now.
can just see that the batch is so done with Sid right now.
Yeah, I think they really had it up to, up to here with Sid.
They tolerated like 2 years with this person.
Right. So, of course, let's talk about the mission. The mission is that they needed to get a copy. Well, they needed to get the actual
They need to
log.
get the ship log off of Rampart's Venator.
Right. It's a recording of what took place on the Venator. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
The ship.
All right, can we skip to the end of that, though? Can we skip to the end of the mission?
Skip to the end of the mission?
Yes. Like, after they've got the stuff. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wasn't going to go into how they got it.
thank
There's
goodness.
just the mission. The plan is
Mission
to get
success.
the mission. The plan is to get the log. Okay, so they have the log. All right. And meanwhile, so we got Omega. She does not travel with the batch to get the log. Right. She stays with Senator Chuchi. She
and
gets
she
shown around
decides
the
to
Senate
blend
floor.
in.
Yeah, right.
She got a robe,
Right.
and
right.
that was the extent of her disguise.
Well, she doesn't need to be disguised. I don't think that anybody knows who she is. Unless you're from
Rampart
Kamino.
does.
Right.
Because remember, he knows what Omega looks like, and he knows what the Batch looks like. And so does Crosshair, but he wasn't there.
Okay. I didn't know Rampart met Omega. You think he knows who
I
she
feel
is?
like he would have, because if he's about to track the Batch, he'd have to know all the members, and he probably knew about the incident on Kamino and how they just picked up a random child along the way.
Okay. So, again, that was the Batch's mission to get this log. Meanwhile, Omega is with Chuchi, and Chuchi is looking to find someone to testify against Rampart, and they find Halle Brutoni, who used to be the former senator of Kamino, rest in peace, Kamino. She doesn't want to testify.
She's also not a new character, by the way. We've seen her in the Clone Wars before.
Okay, yeah. So she doesn't want to testify, but then after she had a conversation with Omega, she was convinced to show up and say something. So she gave her side of the story. We're back on the floor, and
sadly, that's really not enough to convince them.
Right.
So all of a sudden, we see Omega racing out to bail. She's got this case in hand. She's like, "Here's the information." She hands it off, and then Bale floats over to Chuchi, and he gives her the message. And they play it and say, "This is the log from Admiral Rampart's Venator. This is what happened to Kamino." And they show the entire footage. And the Senate erupts. I kid you not. Like Mount Vesuvius or something. The Senate, it's just utter chaos. Right. And then you hear this alarm.
Well, what was shown?
Yes, it was the entire footage of Kamino being destroyed. The Venator's opening fire.
Yes.
And burning Tipoca City to the ground with blaster bolts.
Absolutely, yeah. That happened in last season, right? Yeah.
And now
Kamino lost.
There's an alarm.
An alarm goes off.
Palpatine rises out of the floor.
The man himself.
And he floats in the middle, and he's like,
and the floor just gets quiet.
Tragedy.
Yes.
Admiral Rampart acted alone. The fact that the clones so blindly followed orders is disturbing. They played exactly into his hands.
Yes.
Because with that, he garnered support for his Stormtrooper recruitment bill.
Right.
Because what he said was, the clones are too unreliable. They blindly listened to Rampart. They acted so crazily, quote unquote, under Palpatine's orders, and he threw Rampart under the bus, and it was like, "Guards, arrest him."
He threw him under the Venator.
Like, "No, I'm following orders." And then he's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Oh, did you see Rampart's face? He was see. Let me tell you what was going through Rampart's head.
Please.
When it was revealed, Rampart was like, "Oh my god! Wait! How'd they get did they break onto my ship? How'd they get this footage? No, I'm in trouble." And then Palpatine's like, "Arrest him." And Rampart's like, "Oh, Palpatine, you gotta be kidding me, man! You told me to do this.
Yeah.
I'm getting arrested."
Right. So, of course, the Emperor has no loyalty to his own people, right?
He basically just said, "All right, tired of throwing you under the Venator. I'm gonna get my bill passed now. Yeah. You can get in trouble."
Lisa, so what do we have here? So, hello everyone. I found this episode to be so Palpatine.
And
he
it's
is
the
a
truth.
massive manipulator. He knew Rampart was never going to get that bill through. Rampart was the fall guy from the beginning. Absolutely, he was. He was. And you know what? And it's well, not that I feel bad for Rampart, but he should have known better because we all know where this.
See, whenever
when
you
the
work with
decision
Emperor
came from.
Palpatine, you are likely to get double crossed. Like, the chances of you getting double crossed by Palpatine, not double crossed, but like thrown under the bus by Palpatine is very high because he is a strategic master.
Yes.
He is always
Great
10
word.
steps ahead of everyone else.
Absolutely,
And he
absolutely.
can and will play you like a violin
Right.
and get what he wants.
Right. If he felt the need that it's time to get rid of you, someone who works under him, he will do so. And we all know the truth. We know
Mercilessly.
that what happened to Kamino, right, came from the top, right? It came from the Emperor, then was passed on down to Tarkin, then Tarkin to Rampart, and then Rampart followed through with the order, right?
And
so when
Tarkin
Rampart
managed to
said,
save himself there because he didn't do it directly.
"Oh, we didn't even see Tarkin at all. He knew
Yeah.
better. He wasn't going to show
'Cause
his
if
face."
If it had been Tarkin,
Yeah.
then A New Hope probably wouldn't have happened because he'd be in a jail cell.
Right, correct. So Rampart got what he deserved, right? And when
Which
he
is
said he was
jail
following
time.
orders, he's exactly right. He was following orders, but
He wasn't kidding, but, like,
right? And you know what?
he should have known
What is he
better
going to
at
do?
that
Because he can't go back and tell the Senate, well, the Emperor told me to destroy Kamino. He can't do that. Are you kidding me?
Because,
He's a target now.
like, literally,
Yeah.
Emperor
Or-
Palpatine, if that happened, he'd be like, kill him.
Right.
And just send
Without
every clone
question.
trooper in existence after Rampart.
Yeah, without question. So he's in a bind. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I can't see him staying in prison, for a very long time.
I
He just
feel like
doesn't
he
seem
might
like the
have
type
to.
of person.
I think he might break out of some sort. Or maybe, you know what I think would be a great arc, though?
What's that?
If the Bats free him, and they mistrust him, and then Rampart double crosses them, like sabotages their ship or something, and manages to get away, and he's on the loose, and that's the plot for season 3.
Now, why would they free Rampart? What purpose would that?
I don't know.
What purpose would that serve?
Like, the Bats are good people. So I think if Rampart gives them
Yeah.
a sob story, the Bats would believe it and they'd mistrust him. And then that would give the entire batch, as well as Omega, trust issues, which could be a great plot for season 3, like kind of resolving their issues after Rampart sabotaged them.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it interesting. Like I said, I don't think he's going to stay in jail for very long.
You're right, but I don't think the batch would.
But
break
I
him.
don't think he's going to, the batch is going to break
They're not
him.
that gullible, to be fair.
I hope not, yeah. So I'm curious to see what happens to Rampart
You
next.
know what I
but-
hope doesn't happen, though? They don't get their ship blown up. Because in Mandalorian Season 2, guess what happened? Our precious ship, the Razor Crest,
Yeah.
went bye-bye.
Well, okay, yeah, right. Anything can happen. We hope that nothing happens to the Marauder. That's the only ship they have. So
Like,
we'll see.
they have nothing else.
Yeah. Now, wrapping up the episode, okay, so now we understand that, so Palpatine, so basically his story was that the clones were not to be trusted.
And that they were acting upon blind orders.
Right, they were following orders from Rampart, so they are the ones that should be punished, which also means that you can't even trust the clones, which means you got to pass this bill because we need stormtroopers here.
Precisely.
To take their place.
Because if we don't have stormtroopers,
Right.
those clones could be after you too.
Right.
For the safety of the galaxy,
Right.
we need clone troopers.
So,
And I bet you the bill's getting. In fact, we know the bill gets passed because
the
there's
bill is passed.
stormtroopers.
Absolutely, the bill gets passed.
So, like,
the Emperor
Palpatine
wins once
won.
again. Right? I saved the day once again.
Yes.
All
Do
right.
it.
Okay. All right. So to wrap up, so now it's the batch and Senator Chuchi and Rex.
So they have
they're-
to part ways.
Yeah, they have to part ways.
And then the batch, they go up to Echo. They start saying, good luck, Echo. We'll see you soon. See you on the other side. And
no,
then
poor Omega, nobody bothered to
and
tell her
Omega's
what was
just
going
like-
on. Yeah.
she's just like, what's happening? And Echo says he has a heart to heart with her.
Yes.
And he says, I'm gonna go with Rex for a while. Do
you
some
go.
missions.
Yeah.
'Cause this is exactly what he's been talking about. He's been saying from the beginning, we
Absolutely.
need to do more.
Absolutely. And he finally made the decision that he
To
was going to go with Rex. Right.
and do more.
Right. And you know what? I think, we don't know how Hunter is feeling about it. We don't know what conversation the two of them had, Hunter and Echo. But I think Hunter is, of course, he honors Echo's decision, right?
Yeah.
And
but I think he's gonna feel kind of upset about that because it's like, Echo's one of them now.
Right. So they've lost two members now, right? So Crosshair is gone. Now Echo. So now they're down to, just
down to Hunter, Tech, and Rekka, and Omega.
Right. Okay. So I think at some point Hunter's going to have to realize, okay, well, what are we doing? I think Echo is right. We should be doing more to help the clones, help our own people, and, help defeat this empire, or at least do something to put a rebellion in place to fight this empire. One thing I want to say before we end the episode, there was something that I picked up when Chuchi was showing Omega around the Senate floor, and Omega asked the question, well, who represents the clones? And Chuchi said, well, they don't have any representation in the Senate.
Precisely.
Could Omega be the one to become senator one day and represent the clones? Who knows?
Oh, that is a good idea.
Yeah, how about that? We don't know. But yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so then
wouldn't that be just such a twist?
Yeah, but she's right. There's no representation, and honestly, the thing is, we don't know. Well, we know we don't see many clones.
Ain't it the truth?
After a few years from now, so something happens to them. We still don't know what happens, but I'm sure that there are some that are still out there who are maybe trying to fight to survive. They may not have the means to live on their own, and they need assistance. They may still need somebody like an Omega who, wants to learn more about the system or wants to learn about politics, and she could somehow at some point help clones down the line by representing them, representing her people. So I thought that was pretty cool that was brought up. So Alex, thank you. So Echo's decision is understandable, though I think they should have had a bit more focus on his character, maybe one or two more Echo-focused episodes before having his character leave the batch. Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, you're right. I
feel again, like we just really haven't gotten much of Echo.
Yeah, I think
unfairly so, because he was a great character. But then again, he was in like 5 seasons of the Clone Wars. So once again, I think his arc has been the most explored as far as its Clone Wars arc. But now we're in the time of the Bad Batch, so we need to see more of that.
Right. But I hear your point, Alex, because just when we thought season 2 is starting up and we're hearing more from Echo, that we would
it's like
we would hear.
It's like, Echo, say something. All right, Echo, shut up. Get off the screen for the rest of the season.
Right. We haven't gotten to that point, but of course, we know it's not going to be the last of Echo because we're gonna.
He's got to come back to the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think once they reunite with Crosshair, if they do.
Well, even if they don't reunite with the Batch, we may see scenes with Echo and Rex working with some other people to try to
that'd be great.
Working on missions.
And maybe Cody will join them.
Who knows, right? Yeah.
I really want the alliance of Echo, Rex, and Cody. That would just be the GOAT team.
I agree with you. I like that idea, right?
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I that's absolutely true, right? Yeah, any clones that are out there that are willing to fight, get them, band them together and let's do this, So that is the end of episode 8, Truth and Consequences. So
that is all for this episode.
What do you? Well, it's not all for the episode yet.
Almost all.
Take it easy. We're almost there. All right. So what do you think of the episode? Let us know. Leave a comment. We can take a look at them,
even when the live chat's down,
exactly.
You can always leave a comment.
You can always
check them.
Yes, you can always leave a comment.
Check them.
All right. So of course, we'll be back here next week for episode 9. Just a couple of shout outs that we want to give. Because today is a very important day for 2 people. One, I don't know if you know this, Keith, but this is John Williams' birthday.
I did know.
John Williams is 91 years old, right? So
I know, right?
Absolutely, and he is not retiring. according to him, he's.
I really hope not, because John Williams has made good music since Star Wars in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I hope he never stops.
Yeah, I mean,
The original was 1977.
77. Yeah, I mean, he goes even further back than that. So
He does?
Yes, John Williams has been around for a very long time. So talking about the 50s and the 60s.
Here I am thinking this man's like 75 or something.
No, 91 years old. That's just incredible. So
wow,
happy
time
birthday.
goes by.
Yeah, happy birthday to John Williams. He's still healthy. He's still composing and conducting, so this is amazing. So thank you so much for all your work that you've done over these years, John Williams. And another special birthday.
My brother Maceo.
Maceo.
He shares a birthday with John Williams.
Yeah, how about
and
that,
a
right?
musical connection, too.
Well, hey, look at that.
God, you know
yes.
what we should do next year?
What should we do?
We should see if we could get John Williams on the podcast for
Oh, my
his
goodness.
birthday.
Oh, man. Can you imagine? Let's see what we can do. I think that would be an awesome idea, just if we had him for a few minutes, just
even for like 5 minutes,
just for
to
5
wish
minutes,
Maceo
yes,
a happy birthday.
Yes, to have John Williams wish somebody else a happy birthday on his birthday, that's pretty cool. I would love that.
And then we wish him a happy birthday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
we should mail a card.
I wish we could do that, but I guess we can just do a shout out or send a tweet. But yeah, so that is it. So did we cover everything? So I understand.
Here's a photo of Maceo playing the cello. Look how happy he is.
Yeah. He loves the cello. All right. So you never know. So, John Williams is an influence for many, many people for many generations.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you wrote Maceo some sheet music?
Yes, it would be amazing. Absolutely. Oh, I see your wheels are turning, Keith. All right. We'll see what we can do. All right.
A baby photo, really?
Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. So I think that is it. Do you want to talk about anything else? Anything else you want to cover? Thank you, Alex. Happy birthday to Maceo and John Williams. Best wishes to both with their music. Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. Anything else you want to cover?
Nope.
Okay.
So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, Amazon Music, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fathers and Galaxy. Website, fathersandgalaxy.com. Please check out our merch store, fathersandgalaxy.myspreadshop.com, and our Spreaker page as well.
Right. All right. And just to let you know, again, we'll be back here next week for episode 9, but we're also working on some pretty cool episodes. We have some
We got a lot of
interviews
content coming up soon.
Well, yeah, we do have content, and we have some cool interviews lined up. We can't discuss who they are yet, but, once you see them, I think people will be very happy.
Hey, Dad.
Yes, Keith?
Can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Buy me some Orchard Skittles.
Okay.
I don't know why, but they
Orchard.
discontinued in 2017, and
Yeah.
I'm upset.
Okay. So
I
you
need
have a
Orchard
taste for Skittles. Okay.
Specifically Orchard Skittles.
Okay.
You can get them at Walmart.
And where would I find these Skittles, Orchard Skittles?
Walmart.
Okay. All right. You just
All
said
right,
Walmart. Okay.
let's go.
All right. So once again.
Get your shoes after the
Are
episode.
there any more Q&A? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. These were 2 very, very good episodes. I think they're like two of the best episodes of the
This
Bad
is the
Batch so
best
far.
television of 2023.
Yeah. So thanks again for joining us. Until next time, take care, and we will see you again.